All right, suspended ANC Secretary-General Ace Magashule says that he will appeal the High Court's ruling on his suspension. Earlier, the High Court in Johannesburg dismissed his case with costs. Last month, Magashule approached the High Court in a bid to lift his suspension for failing to vacate his position following a directive under the ANC step-aside resolution. According to the resolution, criminally charged party members should step aside from their positions until their cases are concluded. Magashule is facing fraud and corruption charges in the High Court in Bloemfontein relating to a 250 million rand asbestos project while he was Premier of the Free State. For more, let's now cross then to our reporter, Ntlantla Kgatlhane, who is there for us. Well, a very good afternoon to you, Ntlantla. All right, let's talk then about the proceedings and what we are hearing at this stage then.
Well, good day to you, Flo, and the viewers at home. With us here, we have the suspended Secretary-General of the ANC to react with regards to the judgment today. Without wasting any time, let's just go to it. Thank you so much, Mr. Magashule, for your time. I guess the first question would be just for you to react on the judgment.
Maybe the first thing, we should just pass our condolences to the late comrade Jeff Makubo's family, children, everybody, friends, comrades in the ANC Johannesburg region as the chairperson of the region. And not only Comrade Jeff, General late General Pitso, and many other comrades and people in South Africa, black and white, who have succumbed to COVID-19. Our condolences. And that's why we must take care and ensure, as Comrade Bheki Cele says, we should try and protect our people from the pandemic. And I also want to take this opportunity to say to Comrade Bheki Cele, as Minister of Police, and the police in general, well done for handling the situation in Ntlantla the way you have handled it. And also thank the people and the comrades all over South Africa who have supported Comrade Jacob Zuma and will continue to do so. And all lovely, peace-loving South Africans. Different views, divergent views, but united in diversity.
Well, thank you, SG. Now, on your issue, the judgment made a ruling today. Can you react to that?
Well, I was with lawyers. We did. We met and we agreed that there are a lot of inconsistencies in the judgment. And I think Judge Kolapen last time said the judges can be criticized. So I'm not going to get into that space. The judges of the High Court have spoken. They have arrived at the decisions they have taken. In any legal process, we have a right to appeal because we believe we have a very strong case. The Ramakatsa in this instance, we think, was quoted wrongly. And we have a solid case, I can assure you. The rule of law, the constitution of the ANC, the national conference, because even the respondents, lawyers, Trent Grove, said there is no way the National Executive Committee can change the decision of the Supreme Body, which is the National Conference. In this case, the judges are saying the National Executive can change the decision of the highest decision-making body. It can't be the case in terms of the ANC Constitution. And the inconsistencies and the issue of our Bill of Rights and all that, the ANC has taken whatever action they have taken because they believe they are right. And we believe we are right, and I always discourage comrades to go to courts, but the resolution finally said if you are not satisfied, and with everybody has accepted their factions with the ANC, we are divided. Members of the NEC have said that the top six is divided, the NWC is divided, the NEC is divided. So when it is like that, you can't then blame me for then saying, let me go to court, because people have been charged with corruption and fraud and whatever since as early as 2016, 17, 18. When I was charged in 2020, December, suddenly implication of the step-aside rule, and that's why we are challenging it. So, in short, we have appealed. We are going to appeal. We have 15 days to do so. But on record, the lawyers, thanks to Comrade Dalim Pofu, the lawyer, SC, and the team, very, very, they remind me of George Bezos, the late. They remind me of Arthur Chaskelson, who I personally have worked with because during the days of apartheid, I was hiding in Mayfair at Mayfair Chaskelson Place. So George Bezos, Chaskelson lost a lot of cases during those days of apartheid. It did not mean that they were bad lawyers. So I've said to Dalimpo, you are one of the best. You are George Bezos, you are Arthur Chaskelson. And many of our black lawyers have actually shown that, in fact, black excellence black is not inferior. I'm also using black and white lawyers because I believe in non-racialism. So we are appealing the case, and we have serious prospects of winning. Everybody was saying 98% our case was tight, and we expected the judges to say so. Even if the ANC lost, they were going to appeal because we still want clarity on behalf of the rest of the membership of the ANC. It's not about Ace Magashule, the individual. It's about the body.
As the member of the ANC, you just highlighted the issue that I wanted to talk to about using the courts when you guys are struggling to find each other. And you've already, like you already said, that you've spoken against that. Now you are using, aren't you worried that the ANC literally, it looks like it's struggling to find each other in terms of resolving internal issues?
The Mandela of yesterday, the Oliver Tambo of yesterday, the Chris Hani, the Zuma, I'm sure that type of leadership might be lacking with us. I'm deliberately and consciously citing those leaders because those leaders, the Walter Sisulu, the Moses Kotane, individuals, but when they deal with serious issues which might actually divide the ANC, they will actually make sure that we are all together. That's what President Zuma has actually done many years, and even now he doesn't still want to talk about. The lawyers are pushing Jacob Zuma to talk about some of the things which are ANC internal matters. And he has taught me to say, even if you are angry at times, you might actually flip-flop here, but never talk about internal processes and matters of the African National Congress. I still believe that it is wrong to go to a court of law to resolve political issues. But the resolution of NASREC finally says when you are aggrieved, because they are it looks like there are different groups, triumphalists, so arrogance, you don't do that with leadership. Leadership is supposed to be humble, simple, engage, find one another, each other. So it's wrong. I'm still stating that the ANC is supposed to, and when I discuss, because one of the people I respect so much and I've struggled with, and sometimes people want to blame Jesse Duarte for not being loyal and this. Jesse Duarte is one of the best comrades I've actually worked with, and now and then she also advised, please, internal matters, issues of the ANC, why don't you not take them to court? Can you still come back to the top six? Let's discuss. I said, DSG, that is the right thing to do, and I believe to do so. But going to court doesn't mean we can't still sit down and talk. I can't go to the president and talk and resolve ANC matters internally. It's the right thing to do. But ultimately, this is where we are. We had to go to court because some people believe that they are winners, they are victorious, and they are ANC. And I also felt that we are right. ANC is not an organization of leaders, it's an organization of the people of South Africa, the poor, the masses, the marginalized, the black, the African, the white, Democrats, all those who believe in democracy. And sometimes that's why I believe it's not us who have fought for freedom. People who think I was in exile, I was in prison, I was detained so many times. No, The people who freed this country are ordinary masses, which we don't talk about today. And this is where I think we, as the ANC, we're doing things which are not right, because we are supposed to be focusing on 3 million people have lost their jobs. So many companies have closed down. Black business has come to a standstill. Even white small businesses gone. Africans, there's no water, there's no electricity. The ANC is still fighting. We're still fighting amongst. We are supposed to be focusing on those issues. And I want to give hope today to African, to black business, to everybody, to say, please, still have hope. Don't give up. That will and drive to do business must still continue. And the politics of the ANC will be resolved. So I want clarity from the highest court in the land. I don't know the lawyers where they will go from here, Supreme Court of Appeal, Constitutional Court, because we also contest the Ramakatsa. And I heard the judges today saying one of the inconsistencies, they say, no, it was the judge in the Zuma case, that you can't overturn the judgment of the highest decision-making body, the Constitutional Court. But I remember that the Constitutional Court took a decision in Thuli Madonsela, when Thuli Madonsela was the public protector, to say the findings of the public protector, Thuli Madonsela, are binding. This is the highest court. 2-3 years later, the lower court, respected Judge Shimlambo, says Busima Mkhwebane, the public protector decisions are not binding. So it means in this case the lower court overturned the decision of a higher court. I don't know, it doesn't need sophistication because judges also have their own views and they are objective, and that's why the issue, President Zuma reminded me about, people say there is state capture. Now, this morning when all these things happened, I said to my lawyers, state capture, can we unpack it further? Because if you talk state capture, you mean the judiciary is captured, politicians are captured, the business is captured, the business is capturing this. There's never been any politician who has never engaged, even now, with business. Black and white, those who are very rich, who are actually able to influence decisions of government. It's happening. It's even worse now. It's happening at a very, very great, painful, where we can see black men, African, child, mother, father. I think we can't go back to those days of apartheid where we are banned and banished. You can't talk and all that.
But talking about the commission, do you have faith and hope in it in terms of it's doing its job?
I don't know why people want us to say we should have hope in any commission. Remember, there was a Siriti commission, arms deal, and people went on review. People were criticizing it. So there are people who are criticizing the commission of inquiry led by a comrade, by Deputy Chief Justice Zondo. There are those who are criticizing it. There are those who are not criticizing it. We are South Africans, divergent views. But you can't say it's a commission. It's not a court of law. So a commission is it's not a court of law. That's why the findings of Siriti, Judge Siriti, they went to court. The court reversed the finding of a commission. And I think people must understand all this. I hope, I wish I was going to speak so that I also talk to our ordinary masses to understand some of the dynamics here and the inconsistencies. So I respect whatever levels of judiciary, committees and what have you, but there must be objectivity. And fortunately, everybody also agrees that you can criticize a judge. You don't attack the judge and you criticize the judges, their verdicts. You do that with respect. You have different views. You do that with respect. This is what we have fought for: freedom of speech, association, freedom of all the basic freedoms, and the Bill of Rights. And I feel that in the Bill of Rights, our rights have been trampled upon, and that's why there is no way we can say the ANC constitution is consistent and the decisions of the ANC NEC are consistent with the constitution of the country, which says you are innocent until proven otherwise. In this case, I've said this morning that what is also surprising is that the top 6 of the ANC have agreed with me that these charges are flimsy. And I cited it in the court papers. And there's no way the ANC top 6 can deny that, because that is on record. Zoom records. We were saying if they say there is no such, then we should ask for the record from Zoom and put them there, and you'll hear that the top 6 and then ANC of the ANC says the charges against the Secretary-General Magashule are very, very flimsy. That's why until today, in 2 weeks, in February, MPA said they will give us all the charges. We have written 6, 7, 8 letters now. They are giving us piecemeal here, piecemeal here. There is no way I'm implicated in the case. So we still don't understand what is the oversight. And that's why we are going to court to demand that the NPA must give us all the charges classified as ABC. And we hope the court will actually ensure that NPA give us charges so that we prepare ourselves. And that's where we are. So we are appealing the case.
So regarding today's judgment, do you personally believe that there's something fishy? Is it political? What's your view? I mean, living in your statement, you said that one need not to be in the law terrain to just see that there's something wrong there.
People look at me as this corrupt person because I've been charged with corruption. It's an allegation. It's not a fact. I've never been corrupt. I will never been corrupt. And this morning I cited one meeting where I know people are afraid to say we have made business and all that. And I think I made a mistake when I had an interview with a newsroom to say the premiers in 2009 when I was appointed premier. There was no Zuma who brought the Kuptas to the premiers. All the 8 premiers of the ANC were made to meet with the Kuptas. And the Secretary-General of the ANC then brought us together and were introduced to the Kuptas. I can't give you the discussions because in case it becomes a legal matter, I'm prepared to talk about that. So I think I made a mistake to say, when I was with newsroom, to say Comrade Jesse Duarte was there. No, I think the Secretary-General, Comrade Mantashe, was there. And even in that meeting, there is no Mantashe who said we must be involved in any corruption, the Kuptas must be involved in any corruption, they must capture this. Because I hear people trying to say, no, we have not met this businessman and this one and this one and this one. In my case, no cent in my account found. People here, and I don't say allegations, but in this case, whether it's Comrade Zizi and all, they all accept. They don't say, no, I did not get the money. I did get the money. I bought the car. I did get the money. It was for the salaries of the ANC. Salaries of the ANC, I think, is only Treasurer General who fundraises, and if you assist him, you don't take the money from anybody and you go and pay. Comrade Zweli doesn't know about somebody raising money on behalf of the employees of the ANC. And I'm not saying Comrade Zizi is guilty of anything, but he's not charged. Money is funded into his own account. Others, the money is funded in their accounts. I'm not saying Comrade President accepted that 300 million. People who are there now, whose accounts you can see yourselves, the following, I said to newsroom, you guys must do your work. And can they explain the money was for what and all that? And I have, and I'm happy that I've been charged with oversight, and I'm happy that some of the things which I can't say, so that I don't implicate people's names, I don't talk about my friend Dukwana and many others. I don't want to do that. But the court gives me an opportunity to do that. in August, because the court is not a commission. A court is something which will find facts. When they say there are allegations about judges receiving money and all that, you can believe these things on the social media. The story when the judge is sitting there, something comes and say this judge's account is this and that and that. There are documents which shows that Judge so and so got this money. Those are allegations. I can't therefore then start saying judges are corrupt, judges, and nobody has proven all these things. And that's why we are saying if people have any information, that's why you report information. So for the credibility of judges, I don't want to criticize any judge. They have decided whatever they have decided. Some of the judges are judges which have been with us during the years of struggle. We have been together, Lebo Mukaba and the rest, and we can go back to the history of the cabal and all that. I don't want to talk about those things. They have their own time. But what President Zuma has taught me, and Jesse Duarte, is that ANC and the ANC itself, body, is that ANC, and I spend a lot of time with Comrade Kresan, ANC matters and secrets, because there's no political party or a liberation movement which does not have. Maybe political party is something else, because we treat ourselves today as a political party. There's no revolutionary who, when he's angry, like a wife and husband, when you fight, you start saying, this one did this one. No, it doesn't work that way. But I think people are being pushed. We are being pushed to slowly gravitate to all those things. So I said to newsroom, nobody said, and I have never taken a cent from the Kuptas, not at all. The ANC took us to the Kuptas. There's no premier of 209 who can deny this meeting with Sheraton convened by Gwere Mantashe. Gwere Mantashe cannot deny that. Jesse Duarte was not there. And I can't give you details of that meeting. And not only them. We have met many businesses, black and white. I'm sure even ministers today, they do meet, whether it's Rupert or whoever. You can't therefore say, no, you can't. Because when you are leaders of a country, you must actually meet whoever you have to meet, and people who request to meet with you. Even Helen Zille, he knows he has been to the Kuptas a million times. Almost all the politicians during the functions, they have been there from different political parties. Nobody talks about them at the Zondo Commission. And I don't want to go into those details. Today was to say I'm appealing the case. We are appealing. We have a tight case. We think a different court will arrive at the different decisions. And we need to say to our members on the ground and South Africans, work hard, be patient. Through covert kills, you can see many comrades have died, many South Africans have died. And that's why I want to thank Minister of Police for having acted the way he acted when dealing with the case of President Jacob Zuma.
Yes, one last question I have. The ANC, during its NEC briefing this week, said that there are possible charges coming your way for your remarks, or the remarks that you made in Ntlantla, basically saying that you were, just for lack of a better word, telling members of the ANC to disregard the decisions of the leaders.
No, I do not say they must disregard the decisions of the leaders. I was saying there are members and certain leaders and certain structures which, and Comrade DSG, Jesse Duarte, has clarified us. And I think what I said, Comrade Jesse further clarified it to say the National Executive Committee, in several meetings, when I was there, even when I'm not there, suspended now, has taken decisions that no structure must be disbanded from the branch, Executive Committee, to the region. That's why, Western Cape, maybe it's now about 7 years. The life of the PSC is 4 years. The Northwest, it's almost 7 years now. the life of a PEC is 4 years. In Northwest, they won the case. We did not implement the case, so we are in contempt of court. Those who took us to court, they are now going to court to say contempt of court. So, Jesse, what I said is because I know that there were within structures of the elected and appointed leaders in parts of the country, they were starting to disband branches. And I have said to DSG, the information is there. And you can check with Region A and Branch A. And he said that if that is the case, it's not supposed to be the case. So it is still the position, even in my absence, of the National Executive Committee. And that's why I said those who come and don't give you instructions which are not instructions of the ANC, you can't listen to them. They are further dividing the ANC. Maybe they have never been leaders because they are now appointed. They must still go through the ranks and to understand the ANC, how it works when the National Executive Committee is taking decisions. So I think I rest my case there, and I have explained, and I've got proof. When I talk about something, you should know that I give you proof. When I say there is this allegation about so and so, just so and so, I can give you proof. But I'm not saying you are wrong. In this case, anybody who will disband any branch, and it is stated in the guidelines of the ANC, whether I'm there or not, that a branch, and Comrade Jesse has explained it correct, a branch take itself to a branch conference. There is no region which can even determine the date for a branch conference to take place except during this COVID time. The regional conference, they don't need permission of a provincial structure. Their term is long, and when COVID and everything is okay, the guidelines are there, they take themselves to a regional conference. A provincial structure takes itself to a provincial conference, and national takes it. That's how the ANC is run. That is the proper way. And even now, the DSG has explained, that decision has not changed. So I think branches are clear on that. And you so come to my branch and you say you are disbanded. I tell you, hey, we are not disbanded. Who are you to disband us?
So have they engaged with you to come and explain?
Yes, no, I'm talking to the DSG. I will be formally writing, explaining, giving concrete information of who disbanded which branch.
Oh, thank you so much.
Because they thought I'm just talking out of the... And I will never agitate people against the African National Congress. I'm still a member. I will remain a member. You may want to expel me. I will remain a member because what I fought for are the ideals of what the African National Congress as a liberation movement have fought for. I'm still that member who says, I won't work with the enemy called the DA. I won't do that.
Thank you. There you go. That was the suspended Secretary-General of the ANC ventilating his views after the judgment. With that being said, it's back to you in studio.